A fantastic crowd on hand here in Copenhagen for what should be a great game at Royal Arena between the Czech Republic and the powerhouse Russians. Koshechkin and company, a perfect 3-0. Czech Republic, their lineup recently bolstered, taking on a very powerful team from Russia in a game that could set the Czechs up, Mike Johnson, for a better finish in the standings if they were able to upset the Russians here tonight.
It's a possibility right now, and Pasternaka and Krejci changed the complete complexion of the Czech team, and this should feel like a real test to Russia.
Puck played to the middle of the ice, big hit in the early going, dumped in. Gavrikov back to retrieve. Micah was on him. Puck turned over, back to the line. Gudis with a shot. And that just skitters wide. Thrown back behind the net. Faxa battling the drawn off. Sergei Andronov throws it around the boards. Gudis will come down and get a shot into the pads of Koshechkin, up and out of play.
Russia has played the three weakest teams in this division: France, Austria, Belarus. Sweden, on the other hand, has had to play Slovakia, Sweden, and Switzerland, the Czechs have. So it's been a different path to this game. And you wonder if early on Russia might be caught a little bit off guard about the increased competition.
Back to the line off the draw. Moravcik. Repik dumps it into the corner. Nikita Nestorov leaves it there for Zaitsev, way up ice. Barabanov across the line, toe drag around the defender. Barabanov to the net, backhand, and he just lost the handle. Big shot, scores! Nikita Nestorov followed up and unloaded. And Russia's on the board first in the early going.
Or maybe not, as Barabanov undresses Ronik, takes it all the way to the net, quick stiff from Riddick, and he can't see this puck anywhere. He's got bodies all in front of him, and Nestorov winds from close range. But how about that toe drag to stop and go to slow, and then the aggressive drive across the front of the net. And at that point, the Czech defensive zone coverage breaks down. Everyone tries to block it, but Nechas can't do it. Ronik's not back in time, and David Riddick, who gets the call in a big game, beaten early.
Tough opening shot to face. First of the tournament for Nestorov. David Krejci looking for Pastrnak in the slot, and away comes Kaprizov. Kaprizov to the middle, Datsuk backhand. Oh, what a chance in front for Dodonov. Now chipped out to center, and away comes Yaskin, working in on the right side. Mikhail Jordan in the corner. Pastrnak tries the backhand wraparound. Jordan is there on the follow. Here's Pastrnak, tees it up, right into the high slot for Plekanec. And away comes the captain, Pavel Datsuk. Dumps it back behind the net for Dinar Havizulin.
We saw this against Sweden, where the Czech Republic fell behind early, but they will not go away. They will play their game to the end.
Pass too far for Bushnevich, but icing was waved off. Grigorenko takes it into the corner. Mikhail Grigorenko drops it back. Bushnevich. Mechanics now out to center. Radko Gudas setting up shop behind his net. That'll allow his teammates to get on the change. The fans getting into this in the early going. Solid representation from both sides, but a lot of Czech fans here tonight. Puck thrown all the way down on a Koshechkin. This will be a turnover. Faksa to the middle. Low shots blocked by Zaitsev. Radek Faksa. Zaitsev. Good defensive play. Now Russia will clear it. Adam Polasek, near side for Moravchik. Thomas Haika in across the line. Left it for Cervenka. Tapped away from him. Moravchik works his way through center. Dumps it in on a Koshechkin. And Nikita Nesterov. Tampa Bay Lightning, 5th round draft pick from 2011. Puck played out to center. Here's a chance now. Kubalik couldn't quite get there. Repik lays it down low, back to the point. Long shot, pad save. And puck thrown down the ice. Slanechka back to tag up on the icing.
Whoa, Russia can strike quickly. We've already seen it one time on the goal. Quick 3-on-2. Kaprizov, Datsuk, and Dodonov on the back door. This one would have counted. This was not a kick. Presents his skate as a target. Shoves it forward just wide. As Evgeny Dodonov has had a good tournament, has had a ton of chances to have more than just the one goal. He does. The other winger with Datsuk, Gavril Kaprizov.
David Krejci in to take the face-off. And the Russians will take possession. Nesterov off the wall to Shalunov. And over the line. Kablukov. And taken away. David Pasternok. Fantastic playoff for the Bruins. To the left side, low shot. Pasternok still with possession. Weaving his way through the middle of the ice. Lost the handle. And back comes Russia. Dodonov working against two Czechs. Dodonov tried to load it up. Skips away from him. Krejci has the puck tapped away. Triamkin lost it. Now here's Pasternak working in against Hafi Zulin. Back come the Russians. Dodonov lost the puck. Kaprizov will throw it to Datsuk. Pavel Datsuk lays it out. Coming down is Kaprizov, tries to throw it out front, hits the side of the net. And back come the Czechs. Adam Polasek will try and get center. Can't get it deep. And setting up behind the net is 6'7", 265-pound Nikita Triamkin. Mikhail Grigorenko. Right in front, dangerously, and David Riddick got run over there, took a knee up high.
Sure did. Grigorenko trying to find the rebound, skating through the crease, and you're right, that's how Riddick's head take a jolt. Same kind of jolt that the Czech lineup has gotten with these two Boston Bruins, David Pastrnak, David Krejci. Now I know they're in great shape, and I know they just played the playoffs, but I will have to watch their shift length in this game, because after a night of travel, you get a minute into your shift, those legs will get a little heavier than usual.
Well, they are players who are given a lot of leash to their NHL club team. But a long night of travel.
That's a full day. Boston, Amsterdam, Copenhagen practice nap game against Russia. No matter how good you are, that's a tall task.
Gavrikov takes a bump in the corner. Grigorenko can't clear. Faksa looking in the middle of the ice. Loops it high off the glass. Mikheyev. Thrown to center by Andronov. Libor Sulak down on a Koshechkin. Gavrikov throws it down the ice. Riddick out to play it around the wall. Picked off by Russia. Maxim Shalunov digging away. Back to the line. Triamkin, look out, winds and fires. And he didn't miss by much. Had all kinds of time to load that bomb up.
Well, it got pitched too low on the wall. Could not recover and get out to his point man. Standing outside of the pile, not get pinned up against the wall on your own end.
That was Kablukov getting knocked over. With the whistles of the crowd. Libor Sulak leading the rush. And it's whistled on the offside. Fast pace here in the early going. 1-0 Russia. Back inside Royal Arena, Russia coming off a bronze medal at last year's World Championship. But of course, Mike, that gold medal for the Olympic athletes from Russia. Pyeongchang.
And they returned much of that lineup, including their captain in Pavel Datsuk. And the continuity of the Olympic team, plus the fact that so many of these players play for one of two club teams in St. Petersburg or Moscow, gives them a leg up at a short tournament.
Turnover, puck bouncing dangerously in front of Koshechkin. Back to the point. Working down is Polasek. Has his shot blocked. Pasternак, slap pass over to Krejci. Tried to feather it through the middle of the ice, picked off. And the headman pass is grabbed by Krejci. Krejci works his way through the middle. Hands it away. Mikhail Jordan. Into the middle, Jordan with a snapshot, just missed wide. Nikita Nesterov will set up behind his net, wait for a fresh line to check in off the bench. Grigorenko with an Asimov. There's Nikita Zaitsev of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The line's on the way in,
doesn't know where it is. And then whistle in the offside.
Jordan had a good look in the slot. We've already probably seen more chances against Russia in this game in the first 9 minutes than they faced in any one game prior. Jordan was the latest recipient, little wrister in the slot. Just missed the corner on Koshechkin.
Jordan, 3 World Juniors, 4th World Championship, won a gold medal.
And when he played in Carolina, he was obviously called Michael Jordan. Every time.
Are we going with that? Are we anglicizing?
In Carolina, when he played for the Hurricanes, yes.
Nesterov dumps it in on Riddick. And Nesterov will regroup. Works his way up past his own blue line. Yakovlev. Grigorenko touches it. Into the offensive zone, around the wall, and drawn off. Radek Faksa down to help out in the corner. Rams breaking out in a chant as the puck skips past Cervenka. Polasek missed with his pass. In comes Russia over the line. Polasek will get another chance this time. Finds Repik. Dumps it high and across. Kislevic moves it ahead to Mikheyev. Onto the right side and drawn off. Spins and waits. Nice pass. Just bouncing over the stick of Mamin. Back to the line. Gavrikov. Into the glove of Riddick.
For Riddick to get a couple clean touches. He was beaten basically his first shot against by Nesterov. He was barreled over top of from Grigorenko. So he just wants to settle into the game and calm himself.
Take a look at Pavel Datsyuk. 5 Olympic Games. Golden. Chang. Radko Gudas takes it off the draw. Libor Sulak around the wall. Gudas hacks it out to his own blue line. Api Zulin. Over the line, snapshot, the rebound was floating around. Horak got a look there. Long shot. Back inside Royal Arena here in Copenhagen, down the road about 3.5 hours, and Herning, Canada engaged in an evening matchup against Norway, currently leading 1-0 on a goal from Connor McDavid. Mike, you have some Canada versus Norway experience at this event.
Unfortunately, yes, I do, Ryan. I was part of the only team in the history of Canada to lose to Norway. At the 2000 World Championships, we lost 5-3, and it was a little bit embarrassing.
Well, I waited 10 minutes to bring it up at least.
I appreciate that.
I'll wait longer in the second before I bring it up again.
Comes up once a year every time they play.
Turnover by Pastrnak. And Adam Polasek will clear. Nesterov. This is going to be taken by Pastrnak. Left it back to the line. Swung across. Polasek to the net. Save Koshechkin. Gaskin spins and fires. Hit a body. Shalunov looking down ice for Kablukov. Gaskin over the line. Banged into by Kislevic. Gaskin digging forward in the corner. Played out to center ice past Polasek. Bushnevich chasing down Sklenicka. Sklenicka strides away. Out into the clear he goes. David Sklenicka, the 21-year-old. Throws it into the corner. Onto the wall and back out to center. Roman Cervenka. And the Calgary Flame is Cervenka. Sklenicka. Haika to Cervenka. And up into the penalty box. Actually to the timekeeper's area.
Czech Republic, other than the score, of course, should feel very good about how they played through 12 minutes. They've had the puck in the offensive zone, generated more shots than Russia, probably more chances than Russia. But the great danger in playing Russia is that they don't need much. They need one chance, one break, one mistake to put it in the back of your net.
Now, if there's an Achilles heel in this Russian lineup, would it be the defense?
I'm not sure it would be, because I watched them play in the Olympics, again, not against NHL players, but they were very good.
2-on-1 developing, now a breakaway into the middle, a chance. Oh, what a sliding play by Libor Sulak to take it away from Andronov. Great defensive play, possibly saving a goal. Triamkin at the line. Bank pass off the end boards. Andronov centers, oh, right through the crease. A couple of close calls as Russia comes close.
Talk about the quick strike offense as Andronov breaks in alone, but the fleet-footed Libor Sulak comes flying out of nowhere. Doesn't get there on the initial chase, but is able to recover. Leading with the stick, he's 6'2", extra quick, gets over there, and then the big shot off Netchas's skate. Karam just wide, but I don't know if it's the hair flowing at the back of the helmet, but Libor Sulak flies around the ice. Needed all of his speed on the defensive recovery there.
Did a couple of games with Grand Rapids before being loaned out. Puck shot in behind Riddick. Sulak takes a hard hit. On the wall, Kubalik. Kaprizov to Datsuk. Back to the line, Zaitsev. Kaprizov tried to step around one man.
Good hit. Nothing wrong with that.
Kaprizov did not like it, but the referees just fine with that. Nikita Nesterov. Bogdan, that was Grigorenko actually. Across the line, Bushnevich dumps it down low. Artem Anisimov right in front. Off the leg of Grigorenko. Thomas Plekanec. Long dump in. Played in behind the net. Roman Horak spinning. Horak looking out front. Dishes to the side of the net. Back for Horak. Far side. Polasek fires. Rebound is there. And oh, just couldn't quite corral it. Great chance for Horak. Couldn't get the angle on it. Plekanec. Good pressure here from the Czechs. Artem Anisimov will grab it for Russia.
The whole sequence starts with Thomas Plekanec from his own end, behind his own net, using his legs to get the red line and a dump in and forechecking pressure, because he's able to skate the puck out of trouble.
Hoffy Zulin on the dump in, but didn't get the line. And that one's coming back on the icing.
At this point, Kaprizov has got to be a marked man. Sulak comes across, and yeah, he gets his glove into the face a little bit, but there's nothing to that one. And going the other way, Polasek looking for a chance. The first shot's a good chance, but there it is. Horak just can't get his body in the right spot as Koshechkin was down. It's a tough one to work your body around so you get it up on the one-timer.
Czechs trailing 1-0 here, but they're leading on the shot clock 9-3. An energetic start for the Czech Republic. Russia facing their first stiff competition and adversity. Kablukov over the line. Moravcik works his way through center. Dumps one ahead for Krejci, in there against the big Triamkin. David Pasternok. Krejci back to the line, bouncing pass. Jumps over Moravcik, and Riddick on the quick up. Finds Pasternak. Circles back. Gudis from the blue line, shot. Rebound, high slot, fire, scores! Right off the plane, David Krejci with his first of the tournament. Welcome to Denmark, David. We're tied at 1.
Well, that didn't take very long. Riddick helping his own cause. The quick up all the way to Pasternak. Stops up, creates a little time and space. Radko Gudis puts it down to the front of the net. And David Krejci with the nose for tracking down loose pucks. Beats Zaitsev to it. Little pick from Yaskin, which is allowed as you're battling for space in front of the net. And he goes back against the grain on Koshechkin. And you see the skill and how it translates to that simple play. Pasternok can't be closed off on the entry because he's got a quick stop up, buy some time and space. Yaskin occupies defenders, then Krejci with a really nice finish in traffic. That's what those two can do for the Czech Republic's offense. Who needs sleep, jet lag? Don't think so.
Another chance here for the Czechs. Haika had his shot deflected. Kaprizov, far side to Dodonov. Working across the line, big collision. Datsuk tried to lay it back to the point, but Zaitsev and Nestorov will regroup. Mobile D pairing between Nestorov and Zaitsev. Nikita Zaitsev fires it down. Bushnevich takes a hard hit. Artem Anisimov getting hacked by Libor Sulak. Around the wall, Hafi Zulin. Grigorenko, near side. Shot is blocked. Oh, big shot from Grigorenko. Zipped over the net. Anisimov. Plekhanec plays it around the boards. Nestrassel chops it out to center. Hafi Zulin will take it in front of Koshechkin. Kablukov dumps it deep. Barabanov is there behind the net. Kablukov right out in front, a potential chance. And Barabanov couldn't manage to put it on net. And away come the Czechs across the line. Snapshot, blocker, save. Moravcik with that chance. Has it again, has to vacate the zone. Michael Moravcik in the middle of the ice. Repik fires it in deep. Nestorov. Alex Barabanov weaving his way in. Steps around the D. Barabanov maintains. Now he waits for help off the bench. Spins and fires. And David Riddick right there with a glove save. Tie game here at Royal Arena in Denver. Back inside Royal Arena, the building is jumping. Close to a packed house here for this game between Russia and the Czech Republic. Meantime, Canada has opened up a 3-0 lead on Norway down the road in Herning. Dodonov steps over the line. Dodonov cutting wide, looks to the high slot. Thomas Plekhanec. Nikita Nestorov. Zaitsev wasn't there, put it around the wall. Kaprizov has it stolen by Nestrassel. Radko Gudas. Nobody up ice. Had to circle back and buy some time, throwing it to mid-ice. Dinar Kafi Zulin, 29-year-old from Kazan. On to the left wing. With a head of steam is Mikheyev. His shot attempt is pushed to the corner. Czechs will counter. Maybe not. In over the line. Snapshot from Mikheyev goes high and wide. David Pasternaka to David Krejci. Triamkin hits Pasternaka with it behind the net. Pastrynak with it right out in front, scores! Off of the steal, Dmitry Yaskin has his third of the tournament, and the Czechs have their first lead, and for the first time in the tournament, Russia trails.
The newly minted first line does it again as Trampkin turns his puck over. He's trying to go around the boards, but he hits Pastrynak with it, and he quickly gets it to Yaskin in front. He makes no mistake. Good work by Krejci to poke it loose. Pastrynak out to Yaskin. He goes barring in. And so much for any sort of fatigue issues for these two Boston Bruins.
Well, and we were debating all day, Mike, would it be smart to play them tonight, given the way the tournament sets up?
I was firmly in the camp that
Why?
I would not. And apparently I'm not as smart as Joseph Yandac, as they have been terrific difference makers in the first period. Hunting down loose pucks and forcing Russia to making mistakes in their puck management.
Micah throws it towards the net. Moravchik rifles it around the wall. Cervenka has it go past him. Kislevic can't clear. Into the final minute here of the opening frame. Cervenka.
Russia had not been scored on prior to this game. Forget about trailing. They had not even been scored on at any point. 2 7-0 shutouts and 1 6-0 shutout. So an eye-opener to the rest of the tournament for Russia in this game. That yes, France, Austria, and Belarus are one thing, but the Czech Republic, and there's the turnover, where Trampkin's got to recognize it's a big rink. Pastrnak's 3 feet wide. You don't shoot it right where he's standing, put yourself in a bad spot. And the recovery is slow because everyone's expecting Trampkin to at least perform a successful ring around the boards, and they're flowing to the other side of the ice to support it. They can't get back in time, and Yaskin makes a perfect shot off the post. He feels like he won the lottery playing with those two.
No kidding. Had the overtime winner against Slovakia. Couple of big goals now. Zaitsev, backhand rim around the boards. Off the left wing, in a race for it is Berbanov. The left corner. Played out across the blue line, and the final seconds tick off the clock. All the Russians are being tested for the first time. Trailing 2-1. The Czechs with a great opening 20 minutes. Back inside Royal Arena, Vasily Kozhechkin saw a lot of action in that opening frame. 12 shots by the Czechs, some real good chances. Just 4 for Russia. In their opening 3 games had 15, 17, and 12 shots in the opening period. And while that was not the same level of competition, they mustered just 4 here tonight to get started.
Well, this is the start of Russia's tournament. They go Czechs, Swiss, Slovakia, Sweden. Those are the 4 teams really competing for the 5 quarterfinal spots. And so this will be more of what it will be like the rest of the way. For some reason, there's a puck down in the corner. They're just making sure they're testing to see if it slows down with the water.
A couple of times at the start of periods in this building, we've seen some trouble with the ice. It's a brand new building. It's the first time there's been ice in for a venue.
Yeah. The referee's curling slide test, I guess, was a pass, and the Boston Bruins, 3 points between the two of them.
Nice start, considering they just got off the plane. And this period starts with icing.
Well, prior to their arrival, Josef Jandac was rolling out Radek Fox as his #1 centerman, Thomas Plekanec as his second-line centerman, and we often hear the term slotting. So when Krejci shows up, he's 1, Fox is 2, Plekanec can go down and be the fourth line center, defensively reliable guy. It just makes more sense for everybody.
Everybody playing in the position where they belong a little more. Great offensive year for Pasternaka.
And in the playoffs, my goodness, he put on the show several of those games. The Toronto Maple Leafs, he was doing whatever he wanted.
6 goals, 20 points, 12 games.
20 points, 12 games. That is incredible.
Jordan throws it down into the corner. And away comes Russia. Maxim Mamin works in behind the net. Off the glass, in the middle of the ice, Zaitsev lays it off the wall. Nikita Nesterov led all skaters in the first period. 8 minutes and 21 seconds. Zaitsev to the left wing. Artem Anisimov circles back, cycles down low. Buchnevich, runner in front, scores! Mikhail Grigorenko in the high slot, tie game.
Grigorenko evens things up as the defensive zone coverage for the Czech Republic lets them down and allows Grigorenko to be all alone in front. Anisimov stops up, and Skalikna is there as well as David Pasternaka. And on that rotation, Jordan, you can't leave the front of the net. You recognize there's already been one mistake where Krejci was helping Skalikna. If you're the last man in front, you have to stay in front. You chase behind the net to the non-dangerous ice, and you leave Grigorenko wide open in front, and he makes no mistake.
Josef Jandac electing to go with David Riddick for tonight's game. 2 goals on the first 5 shots that he's seen. Pavel Francouz, the backup, has played a couple of games. Radko Gudas through the middle. Nechas gets it back. Nechas deking. Save made by Koshechkin on a breakaway for Nechas.
The penalty coming up to Javi Zulin. Takes an interference on Repik driving the far post. But how about this little give and go here?
Team Russia, number
Quick
3,
one, back and forth.
interference.
Kupalik gets it into Nechas, and he's trying to find a way to go far side. And he just runs out of room. Gonna be tough to string out Koshechkin. He's 6'7" as Javi Zulin absolutely tackles Repik on the far post. So the Czech Republic head to the power play.
3 for 12 in the tournament, 25%. They're 8th overall in the tournament. On the man advantage, the Russians, their penalty kill, obviously, coming in. Perfect, 5 for 5. Pastrnak gets it back. On the wall, David Pastrnak. Back to Hronek, winds and fires, pad save. Pastrnak misfires on the backhand. Gavrikov, an aggressive backhand to try and clear it, ends up over the glass.
Another obvious area that Krejci and Pastrnak will impact the Czech Republic is on the power play. So now you can put Dmitry Yashkin right in front, have Pastrnak in his traditional one-time Ovechkin spot. And he's so comfortable there, a threat to score from a ways out.
35 goals for David Pasternaka this year. 80-point season. Playing in his 3rd World Championship. Filip Hronek starts out behind his net. Long lead pass in over the line here to the near side. Pastrnak. Around the boards for Krejci. Back to the line, turnover. Here's a chance for Anisimov. Artem Anisimov! Backhand save is made. A great shorthanded chance for Anisimov on the steal. I believe it was Krejci who handed it right to him.
Absolutely was. He healed the pass and gave it right away.
And here's Andronov now. Takes a cross check. Czechs regroup. Thomas Heike working his way up ice. Drop pass. Pasternaka with a one-timer. That's blocked. And goes up over the netting. The Russians came close to getting a shorthanded goal.
David Krejci got his head up looking for the pass, misjudges the puck, fans on it, and Nisimov's off to the races. You're going full speed, so you probably can't pull it back to a shooting position. And Nisimov wants to keep the puck in front of him and his chasers. And the big glove of David Riddick reads the move perfectly. If you put that puck over top of the glove, it's probably going to go over top of the net. Nothing for Nisimov to shoot at. Left side.
Nesterov clears it down the ice. Libor Sulak to Cervenka. Nichas drops it off. Back to the point. Sulak winds and fires, hit a skate in front. And Russia will clear into the final 20 seconds of their man advantage. Rim around the boards to Cervenka. Sulak dished it back from Nichas, but that well offside.
See how the speed of Nichas can push defenders back. Easy zone entry when he gets it. When you see a guy coming at you head up with that much speed, you have no choice but really to back up, give up the blue line, and that's exactly what the power play is looking for.
Nichas, Kane's first round pick, 12th overall. Played one NHL game against the Edmonton Oilers, had 13 shifts, played just under 7 minutes. 19 years old. Got some growing to do. Filling out a little bit.
Yeah, that is nature running its course, maturing.
Strassel has it bounce off his skate. Keeps back at even strength. Played around behind the net by Horak. Triamkin knocks it out to center. Triamkin again throws it out past his own blue line. Gudas had to wait for Plekanec to check up on side.
Did not wait long enough, brought the puck back over the blue line. Mikhail Grigorenko's had a nice tournament so far. This second line with Kuchnevich and Anisimov has been very productive. And that's being the recipient of a nice pass. And whoa now, you better have good hands. You got that going on. Jumping for joy.
So happy you start throwing babies around. I think you have to save that for an overtime winner.
Or maybe just at your house.
And Nikita Nesterov leaves it. Dumped in. Sulak gives way to Gudas. Hard rim around the boards. Pastrnak. Away he goes. 2-on-1. Pastrnak with Yaskin waiting. High slot shot just wide. Rebound. It's right there. Scores!
Oh, man.
David Pastrnak, after the 2-on-1, set up shop in front of the net, and the puck found him.
Are you kidding me with what these guys are doing? As Pastrnak looking for Krejci the entire time, finds him, misses the net, but then Krejci, a little chip pass right back to him as Zaitsev had dropped to slide. So when you drop the slide right there, the problem is if the play continues back to the front of the net, you're on your knees, you can't recover. And a heads-up play. Wait, we've heard that before from David Krejci to chip it quickly back in front to Pastrnak. And the Czechs regain the lead.
When Pastrnak hung around the front of the net, often off those odd man rushes, guys will fly away.
Yeah, you saw him slam on the brakes. He actually got to a knee, but made sure to stop in time to stay right near the goal line and the quick hands to shovel it in. Weak side.
Czechs open up their second lead of the evening. Mikhail Grigorenko weaving his way through the middle of the ice, dumps it in. Kuchnevich lays it on behind the net. Grigorenko couldn't body his way into possession. Off the glass, out to center. Kuchnevich turns up ice. Rims it around the boards. Barabanov gives it to Faksa. Repik to the middle of the ice. Puck dumped in by Jordan. Afi Zulin to Barabanov. Into the middle. Right side. Stepping across the line is Kablukov. Lays it in behind the net. Shalunov being watched by Moravchik. Kablukov. Pass across, Zaitsev, pass, there it is, oh, what a feed! Nikita Zaitsev locked and loaded, but he hesitated and makes a beautiful pass. Wide open net, we got a tie game.
Oh, the look by Zaitsev. Find a way to slide it down to the side of the net so Barabanov could bumble and gently push that one over the line, but you got to trust your players to do your own job. Where's Kubalik going there? He's chasing the guy in the high slot when Polishek is right there. You don't need any help. Stay with your man. There's 18 cheeking over. Now that leaves Zaitsev wide open, so then that puts Moravchik in a tough spot because he has to commit to the shooter. That leaves his man Barabanov. The chain reaction starts with Kubalik. Let that man in the high slot have the puck. If he wants to score from there through a shot block from Polishek, go ahead. That's a different kind of problem. But you start running and cheating because you don't trust your teammate to do his job, everything breaks down.
Big goal from the Russians. Great feed from Zaitsev. Tied up at 3 with 13:45 left. Hit in the corner. Strassel throwing his weight around. Bukanic battling with Andronov. Puck chipped to the boards. And out to center. Horak lost it. Yevgeny Dodonov, Florida Panthers third rounder in 07, in across the left side. Weaving his way around Sulak. Dodonov still with it. Hot pass back to the blue line that Nestorov couldn't corral. Sulak loses the handle. Chance, Datsuk. Save is made. Datsuk didn't get as much as he would have liked. Penalty coming up here to the Czechs. So the Russians come close. They'll get a chance on the man advantage. Things heating up.
Czech team player number 8, 2 minutes, slashing.
Libor Sulak to the box. And the Russians to the power, playing a 3-3 tie.
The smallest of mistakes is getting capitalized on the good offensive players on both sides. Any bobbled puck, any misread, and the offensive players are making the plays.
Zaitsev off the draw, over to Nestorov. Lines, fires. That skips wide. Back to Zaitsev. Mikhail Grigorenko to Nestorov. Back for Grigorenko. Looking for Buchnevich in the slot. Buchnevich in a battle for it. Anisimov around the boards. Grigorenko. Mikhail Grigorenko looks to the front of the net. Grigorenko surveying. Nice pass. Oh, what a pad save. A beautiful pad save from David Riddick. Battle in the corner. Puck thrown out to the line and cleared. Oh, what a chance. Russia came close there. Dinar Hafizulin weaving his way through center. Look back, missed both players. So Russia will have to regroup. Yevgeny Dodonov working his way up through center. Pass onto the left side. Kaprizov over to Dodonov, gets past him. And the zone is cleared. Hafizulin to Dodonov. Working in on Gudas. Had Datsuk streaking, couldn't get it to him. Dodonov. Back to the line. Moved across. Down low. Kaprizov. Looking into the high slot. Nobody home. And that'll do it for the man advantage. Dinar Hafizulin dumps it down past Koshechkin. Hronek looking up ice for Gaskin. Gets in on the forecheck, bodies his man. Gaskin and Pastrnak working in the offensive zone. Pastrnak has it off the wall, back to the line. That shot is blocked, up off the glass, and back to recover is Moravchik. He's hurried by Berbanov. Gaskin on the wall, throws a hit. Berbanov over there as well. Gaskin, bank pass to Pastrnak. Weaving, and then a beautiful feed to Krejci. David Krejci through his own legs. Circles back, high slot. Gaskin looking for Pastrnak, but it bounces up and into the glove of Vasily Koshechkin. 3-3 tie between the Czech Republic and Russia. Down the road in Herning, Canada opening up a 4-0 lead on Norway. Connor McDavid having some kind of night. The first hat trick the tournament has seen. He's got 3 goals. So there will be no repeat likely of 2000, Mike Johnson.
I'm happy, but I'd also like some company, so I would not be the only ones. Just not this year, maybe.
Played down the ice by Zaitsev, and that will come back on the icing. I waited 10 minutes again in the second.
Yes, you sure did.
Well, I mean, upsets happen. They do. I mean, we saw one last night, Finland.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at this great save by Riddick. Getting across. Zaitsev can put that anywhere else. Far post, it goes through the legs. Near post, it goes short side. Upstairs, it goes in, but Riddick takes the one spot, the net away, and Zaitsev hit him in the pad.
Zaitsev, hard around the boards, tied up in the feet of the linesman. Back down to Pastrnak. Slanichko over on the far wall. Has it chopped away from him. And away comes Andronov. Sergei Andronov, the 28-year-old. Seeing a fair amount of ice time here in a tight game.
At this point, you're obviously going to try to match up whoever against Pastrnak in his group. And I don't know if that means putting Datsuk on him and telling him to check. If you trust Andronov to be the guy, Kaplukov, whoever it is, but every time Pastrnak, Krejci, and Yaskin are on the ice, they are involved in things in the offensive zone. That has to be the sole focus of Russia's team defense, how to control this line.
Czechs with the last change here today. They are the home team. Mechanic wins the draw to Gudas. Near side, hard rim from Libor Sulak. Pavel Datsuk. Thrown out to center ice. Gudas chops it back. Past Koshechkin. Bogdan Kislevich to Datsuk. Puck knocked away. Here comes big Libor Sulak, 6'4", 207, takes a hit, gets it deep. Turnover here. Into the corner. Kubalik battling. Plekanec. Thomas Plekanec back for Kubalik. Kislevic will try and clear, and he does. Away comes Datsuk. Pavel Datsuk dangling in, and Radko Gudas knocked it away. And back come the Czechs. With the head of steam is Nestrasil. And back the other way, just ahead of Buchnevich. That'll come back down into Russia's end on the icing.
David Krejci's had a busy 24 hours, but he's capping it off with a pretty spectacular first game. Got the Czechs on the board, picked up an assist on Yaskin's goal, and then another really nice assist on Pasternak's little chip out front. So he's got 1 goal, 3 points.
Radek Faksa in on the face-off against Pavel Datsuk. Datsuk grabs it off the draw, feathers it ahead for Grigorenko. Datsuk, after taking the defensive zone draw, after the icing, will change. Here comes Polasek. Looking for Thomas Haika. Skitters it past Goshechkin's feet. And away with it is Buchnevich. Cuts to the middle. Had Grigorenko going to the net, just missed him. Buchnevich circles back, bodied. Artem Anisimov takes a thump from Polasek. Back to the line.
The puck hit somebody jumping off the Russian bench. So blow down at the blue line. This has been a fantastic game. The new coach for Russia, Ilya Vorobyov, taking over from Oleg Narok, who won gold with the Olympic athletes from Russia.
Kind of an interesting scenario.
Replaced just a month ago, really, stepping into a pretty successful national team program this past year.
And at first, not much in the way of a reason given for the change. Then Vladislav Tretiak came out and said that Znarok was fatigued mentally and needed a break, so set aside.
In the meantime, yeah.
Dave Lewis, 3 games into the tournament, was set aside as well.
Replaced after 3 losses, including 1 against Russia and Sweden for Belarus. I don't know what they expected those results to be. So you're basically firing because he lost to France.
And served as head coach for that program for 3 years. This is Nechas. Pushes it ahead. Nestrasil circles. Hands it off to Sklenechka. David Sklenechka back to the point. Moravchik down for Nechas. Throw it towards the net. And away comes Russia. Potential odd man rush. The chip pass bounces over the stick. And Maxim Shalunov.
Nechas getting caught being cute at the blue line. And against stronger opposition, that is a dangerous play to leave your feet.
David Sklenechka. Puck knocked out of the air by Kaprizov, but played above the shoulders. Whistled down on the high stick.
Barabanov was almost gone here. He's been tremendous in this game. He starts the first goal with a individual effort around Hronek. Eventually ends up on Nesterov's stick for a goal, and then gently pushing that one over the line. The hardest part was handling the puck. Sometimes, Ryan, when you know the puck's coming to you, but it's got to come through a pile of legs and sticks and feet. The hardest part is just finding it, to control it. He did a good job of making sure that Zaitsev pass was knocked down before pushing it in the net.
6:06 remaining here in the second period. 3-3 tie between the Czech Republic and Russia. In off the rush come the Russians. Shot from Andronov. Save is made. Headman pass for Pastrnak. He got a piece of it, so no icing. Krejci had his stick lifted. Gudas throws it down towards the net. Yashkin there. Yashkin on it in the corner. Kaprizov Knocks it ahead for Mikheyev. Mikheyev working it on Sulak. Backhands it around the boards. Pavel Datsyuk there. To the middle of the ice. Chance here. Mikheyev takes it into the corner. Turns his back to Sulak. Over to Dodonov. Triamkin at the line. Winds. Fires. And a hot shot. Just missed right.
Sошников out there. First shift of the game for Russia.
Recently added to the lineup. He's the 24-year-old, the St. Louis Blues.
Fresh legs.
And there's Sошников. Getting on the puck, takes a hard hit from Gudas. Separating the man from the puck was Radko Gudas. Another big hit in front of the Czech bench. And here come the Russians. High slot, touch pass, snapshot high. Thrown right out in front of Riddick, and he swats it away. Datsyuk back to the line. Kislevic over to Gavrikov. Lays it down to Anisimov. Nikita Zaitsev off the bench. Throws it to the middle, tipped. And a glove save. Grigorenko leaves it for Zaitsev. Nikita Zaitsev swooping right out in front. Fires. Almost got that to go on a nice play from Nikita Zaitsev. Moved ahead now, one-on-one. Kubalik with some help. Kubalik throws it across to Cervenka, who absolutely runs over Shechkin. So we got a penalty coming up. Chance for Anisimov, feathers it through the middle of the ice. And that is blocked. So a dangerous sequence in one end will lead to a power play for the Russians in a tie game.
Team check, clock it. Number 14, 2 minutes for goaltender interference.
Thomas Plekanec in the box for the Czechs. A little too aggressive in his drive to the net. Right through Vasily Shechkin.
Getting some repairs on his mask. Here's the pass across. Now, Plekanec is kind of getting tied up, hooked on his stick, but
no shove.
Not really helped in there at all by Zaitsev. And you just can't take a path towards the goal that you can't control yourself when you get there. So, Plekanec, now if you tap that in the net, then you can crash into him, and that's okay. But if you miss the pass, then you've kind of sold out on banging into the goaltender, you're going to pick up a penalty, and Thomas Plekanec does just that.
So the Russians getting their second power play opportunity of the night. Kaprizov is Happy Zulin at the blue line. Kaprizov. Shalunov. Maxim Shalunov back to the point. Happy Zulin throws it across to Pavel Datsyuk. Saucer pass. That shot goes wide, back down into the corner, round the boards. Pavel Datsyuk. Back to the point. Happy Zulin. Waiting. Shalunov has some time down low. Shalunov in the shooting zone. Now he lets it go, looking for a stick. Shalunov back to Happy Zulin, shoots, hit the post. Oh, that was close. A deflected puck rang off the iron in behind. Riddick. And another shot comes in high and up and out of play. Boy, was that close.
Riddick had no idea where that puck was. It was tipped high up in the slot by Dadonov. Bounces off the ground, off the pad, off one post and off the other. Straight across. Take a look at this. Dadonov with the tip. catches both posts, and on the way out, that is lucky for David Riddick. Unreal.
Second power play, and it steps out for Russia. Mikhail Grigorenko wins the draw. Nesterov with Zaitsev manning the blue line. Chance to clear for the Czechs. Nesterov, good job. Check that, Zaitsev keeping it in. Now this is Nesterov. Fires it down low to Buchnevich. Buchnevich. Grigorenko. Nesterov. Zaitsev. Nesterov fires, just misses to the left. Moravchik taking his time. Nice outlet pass to Polasek, who's got all kinds of time. And he'll fire it high over everybody's head down the ice. 15 seconds left. Last call for the Russian power play. Played up ice for Buchnevich. Gets past him. And that's coming all the way back. A couple of good looks for Russia with this man advantage.
And lots of offensive zone time. Czechs are trying to pack it back in front of their own net. And sometimes a willingness to shoot, go for a break. They did that. Donov. And the best chance with the tip. And you can go a whole year without seeing a puck hit two posts like that.
A little bit of luck for David Riddick. Nikita Zaitsev hands it back to Nesterov. Nesterov waiting. Russians will make a change up front. Zaitsev off the wall, down the ice. 8-5, Russians with the shot advantage in this period as they steal. Snapshot off the side of the net. Back to collect it is Maxim Mamin. Spins up ice. Mamin still on it. Working out of the right corner, fanned on the shot. Then took a bump. Takes another hit and goes down. A couple of Russian skaters on the ice. Picked off there by Krejci and lifted out to center. Kubalik. Libor Sulak. Let that puck come in offside.
So everyone has a chance to catch their breath. This has been a fantastic game. Both teams playing with lots of pace, energy in the crowd and on the ice. And it's good to see Russia get pushed. And they can't just cakewalk their way through everybody like it looked like they might the first few games.
The Czechs' decision to play Pasternак and Krejci tonight paying off big time.
See how they feel tomorrow, but for now, it looks like the right one for sure.
Mark-Edward Vlasic not in the lineup for Canada tonight. He was a late add to their team, made his way over.
Different dynamic, of course, playing Norway, where Canada thinks that they should be able to get through that matchup without Vlasic services, as opposed to this one where the Czechs know they need Pastrnak, they need Krejci and what they can bring to compete with Russia.
United States had a scare against Latvia. Ended up with a 2-point win rather than a 3-point regulation win. They've added on their blue line as well.
Charlie McAvoy coming over. The Boston Bruins are representing.
Sometimes after the second round, guys can be hesitant to come, and their GMs, frankly, hesitant to let them. Raskin off the left side. For Pastrnak, right out in front. Krejci was wide open.
Their two-man game is fun to watch. They know where each other are all the time.
They just disappear and then reappear. Yaskin at the buzzer, throws it wide of the net. 3-3 tie through 40 minutes of play. A fast-paced game. It's a beauty here at Royal Arena. Back inside Royal Arena, Ryan Rashog alongside Mike Johnson getting set for third period action. 3-3 between the Czech Republic and Russia. The Russians hadn't given up a goal in 3 games coming into tonight's action. The Czechs have 3 on them. And a marriage proposal.
No intermission is complete until you get a marriage proposal, which was thankfully accepted.
A couple of Czech fans. Got a nice cheer from the crowd.
Cap this night off with a win, though, for their team.
There you go. Gavrikov onto the wall. Kaprizov. Slanichka.
Kaprizov bumped off the #1 line, Ryan. No longer playing with Datsuk and Dadonov. So he takes a bit of a demotion in this game.
Yeah, Vorobyov making some adjustments. This is Haika. Shot hit a skate. Cervenka has it knocked away from him. Radek Faksa. This is Pavel Datsuk. Bank pass off the wall. Sosnikov. Didn't see much action in the first couple of periods, but he's on the ice right now, buzzing around. He'll head to the bench.
So he goes from not playing a second in the first 35 minutes of the game to in a tie game in the third period, playing on the #1 line.
Why not?
Because he's dead cold, but sure.
Back up the Czechs on the regroup. Kubalik over the line. Grigorenko on the back check. Headman pass for Anisimov. Artem Anisimov, snapshot off the stick of Moravchik. And that goes up and out of play.
One line that has not been broken up is the second line with Anisimov, Grigorenko, and Buchnevich. They've been excellent throughout this tournament. That last rush attempt turned aside.
Pastrnak and Krejci, by the way, on pace for roughly 20 minutes, each right around the 13-minute mark after 2 periods.
Quick repair being done in the net here as Russian player was driving the net, got tangled up, went into it. Buchnevich did, so they got to reset the peg. Get the drill in there, clear out the hole. They're off to the races.
Duckley taking some selfies with fans. An energetic crowd here tonight. It's actually a national holiday, very religious holiday here in Denmark. Ascension Day, celebrated on the 40th day after Easter. And the town shuts down. Everything was closed, as I found out the hard way looking for my morning coffee.
Not even a Starbucks for you this morning,
Not even a Starbucks.
You were grumpy.
Nichas dumps it into the offensive zone. He will chase after Yakovlev. Shalunov moves it down on a Riddick. Up ice. Bogdan Kislevich led the team with over 18:40 in ice time per game coming into tonight with Kislevich. Kislevich turns a puck over. Yaskin pursuing Kaprizov. Long pass up to center. David Krejci lays it back into Russia's end. Kislevich, long shift here. Over for Gavrikov. And Kislevich gets it back. On the wing for Andronov. Libor Sulak to Krejci. Sulak took a hit. Mikheyev thrown out into the high slot, back to the line. Zaitsev, snapshot, glove, save, Riddick.
Zaitsev, who has been around the net a couple times, especially that one on the power play in the second period. It's another shot down towards the net, but a good job by Sulak and the Czech defenders to not get beat back to the front of the net after he was upended hard by Andronov. But when Zaitsev comes to shoot, look at the lane that Riddick has to see through. That is what a goalie wants to see. Clean line of sight and no inside position for a white jersey.
Nikita Zaitsev, by the way, the only right-handed shot in the Russian lineup. The rare right shot defenseman, a rare right shot overall for Russia. Gusev is a right shot as well, but not in the lineup tonight. He'll be a huge addition for Russia.
Yeah, if he's healthy, can get playing, especially when you put him on the power play in that one-timer position. He offers a far more dynamic threat than where Zaitsev, in fact, found himself when he was just unable to score.
That's unbelievable, only right shot on the entire team.
There's a higher percentage of left shots in Russia than just about any other hockey-playing country. We had this conversation as to why, and some of it has to do with the sticks that were available. And it has to do with those great teams in the 70s and 80s, the Big Red Machine that a lot of these kids now men copied. And also, it was suggested that there was some sports science done about right-handed players are better at controlling pucks when their top hand is their dominant hand.
Interesting.
So that factors in, I guess, on some level as well.
Yet two of the greatest Russian scorers of all time, in Ovechkin and Kovalchuk.
Both shoot right.
Right shots.
They're also still in the relatively new generation of guys, 32, 33, 34 years old.
15:49 on the clock, tie game here between Russia and the Czech Republic. Big hit there from Slanichka on a Buchnevich. Nikita Zaitsev dumps it to the corner, and he's still on it. Nice pass, middle of the ice shot off the stick of Alex Barabanov on a nice feed from Nikita Zaitsev, working deep in the offensive zone.
Exactly right, stopping up, and this is how you pass the puck. Hard, flat, right on the tape. Barabanov handles it clean. That's a pretty far away from the net to try to beat a goalie on a wrister. Another nice play created by Nikita Zaitsev.
He stands out over here, doesn't he?
He does. Probably cleaner with the puck over here than you associate with his play with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Puck to the high slot. Pushed away from Shalunov. He throws it down behind the net. Kablukov back to the point. Nestorov misfires. Maxim Shalunov, 25-year-old. Nikita Zaitsev still with the blue gloves. Down into Riddick. Dumps in the corner for Nichas, gets past him. Tryamkin pinches and keeps it in. Barabanov taken from him, off the wall. Sulak stepped in front of Buchnevich, where Barabanov checked that, took the high stick, but
I think he probably got him because Barabanov was checking the ref as well.
potential interference. Kirill Kaprizov circling, lays it on to Bogdan Kislevich. Cross ice, back to Gavrikov. Over the line comes Andronov. Whoa, gets hit hard from behind by Adam Polishek. Got a stick into the numbers there. And a dangerous collision with the boards. And the referee goes up. Power play is on the way.
Polishek will get it for likely boarding. Now that's a shove that happens a lot during a game, but Andronov was in the process of trying to stop up himself, so his hips were already turned. And here is the high stick that was missed. Barabanov got Sulak on.
Almost seemed like a bit of interference by Sulak too. Might have been able to go either way there.
I would lean far more to the high stick to the face than the gentle impediment. But hey, whatever you want there, Ryan.
The look you just gave me told me that. You weren't buying that one.
Not the slightest.
Sulak, 6'2", 207.
He's been noticeable. He's been one of the better players for the Czech Republic. You mentioned just a couple games with Grand Rapids, played most of the year in Finland. He's been good.
So Russia lines up for their third power play of the evening. The Czechs have yet to get one. And they can't clear. Zaitsev. Now it'll bounce out the center. Nikita Nesterov. Starting out in his own end, Nesterov. Leaves it for Zaitsev. Grigorenko. Pass missed him. And Russia will have to hit the reset button. Zaitsev to Grigorenko. And Russia wanting to hang on to the puck. Definitely not willing at this point to dump it in and chase.
That's well done by the Czech Republic in the neutral zone, though. First off by Repik, disturbing Nesterov, and then Mechanics as well. But the great equalizer, you give it to 13 and just let him go. The initial bump back power play break-in was designed by Detroit. That's who used it most often, and they gave it to Datsuk. He said, go ahead, you just stick handle in for everyone else when the other team stacks four, and it was almost unstoppable.
A brilliant player on offensive zone entries. Mikhail Shalunov, Kaprizov goes all the way across the ice. That up into the Czech bench.
Touched the Czech stick on the way through, though. The Czechs are arguing that a Russian player got a piece of it in front of the bench. And whoever touched it last will determine who and where the puck will be dropped. So the referees getting together, well done. Figured out together and decided that Dadonov actually touched this puck as it sailed across. There's the Czech touch, and then here is, oh, good eyes on the linesmen and referees. Well done. That was a bad effort by the backup goalie, Pavel Francouz.
It did hit the glass, too.
Listen, you got the blocker catcher on. Everyone on the bench is counting on you. You can't be ducking behind your catcher, protecting yourself.
The one shot he'll likely face tonight.
Yeah, that's the one job, is stop the puck that comes into the bench.
And he bobbled it. Shalunov over the line, drops it for Kaprizov. Kaprizov for Datsuk. Yakovlev at the point, back for Datsuk. Yakovlev fires right into the midsection of David Riddick. With bodies sprawled out in the high slot.
Well, Pavel Datsuk fakes the shot, draws down Repik, and that puts it right on a tee for Yakovlev, and jumping screen by Kaprizov, slide by tip by Dadonov. Either one touched it, they're in business. We've seen Victor Arvidsson turn that little jumping screen into a fake in the NHL for the Nashville Predators.
Off the draw, back to the line. This is Nesterov over for Zaitsev. Nikita Zaitsev, oh, what a feed. Bushnevich couldn't find the handle, then with another chance. And Rittich with the pad save. Another great pass from Nikita Zaitsev. Back to the line, Nesterov will hold. Zaitsev took a fall in the offensive corner. Came up a little bit lame, but he'll hang in the remainder of this power play. Grigorenko. Puck thrown past him, and a penalty coming up here. And the Czechs are going to get their first power play of the evening.
High stick coming up.
Called by referee Brad Iverson, the Canadian.
That's a bad sequence for Bushnevich, because he had an empty netter on his stick. And
Team Russia, number 19, 2 minutes for high sticking.
And his stick gets up in the face of Faksa. Here's the pass from Zaitsev again. Holds it, holds it. Oh, he saw it coming through. He just mistimed it. He towed it. He saw the big flex on the stick. He knew it was going to be a hard pass, but just shovel it towards the net. He cannot believe he missed that chance.
4-on-4 for 6 seconds until Polishek steps out of the box. And the Czechs will have their first power play of the night. Pasternак grabs it. Polishek heads to the bench. And the more offensive Thomas Heike steps out. Krejci. Jaskin. Back to the line. Pasternaka. Ronik. Right in front, that hit the bar. Jaskin was parked in front looking for the screen. And it was floated in. Off the post. Pasternaka from the point. Far side. Broken up by Gavrikov with a good stick. David Pasternaka working in. Krejci. David Krejci in behind the net. Hands it off to Pasternaka. On the boards. Circles back to the line. Hronik. Back down low. Pasternaka. Hronik to Pasternaka. Now Krejci. Fakes the back pass. Krejci far side. One-timer save! Oh, what a chance! And David Pasternaka knew he had the go-ahead goal on his stick. Looks to the sky. What a fantastic save from Vasily Koshechkin.
Oh, that is well done by Koshechkin to get across. Pasternaka gets a lot on this one, gets it up in the air, and Koshechkin fights it off through his armpit to keep it out. Because when he sees it, he stops it. He doesn't see that one, who just drifts off the post. There's big Dmitry Yashkin in front, bothering Koshechkin's line of sight. What a save. Dueling backdoor stops Riddick and Koshechkin.
That was the first shot he faced this period.
How does that feel?
Libor Sulak on the wing. Cervenka. Zaitsev throws a hit. And Russia will clear. Riddick leaves it for Sulak. Roman Cervenka lost the handle. Nichas leaves it for Cervenka, but he's in ahead of the play, and it's whistled down on the offside.
Josip Jandac talking to Vinny Prospel, his assistant coach, and trying to find a way to create some offense with somebody other than David Krejci's line, because they have been outrageously good, but not a lot of offense coming from anybody else in the Czech lineup.
An important game for the Czechs here, Mike, really for both teams, but if they can beat Russia, they're through some of the tough spots in their schedule.
Well, they got the soft 3 to finish in Belarus, France, and Austria, so you're counting on 9 points there. Do the math pretty quickly what they end up with.
And should Russia have a bump in the road somewhere else?
And Russia has to play Sweden on the last night. Sweden's able to win that. All of a sudden, they find themselves in a second place.
3-3 tie here at Royal Arena. Just under 10 minutes remaining. Tie between the Czech Republic and Russia. Ryan Rashog alongside Mike Johnson. Down the road in Herning, Team Canada taking care of their business. Commanding 5-0 lead over Norway tonight.
So is this one enough to get McElhaney the starter's job? Another win against a softer opponent? Or will it just come down to what he does against Finland?
Well, you'd have to think they're leaning that way.
At this point.
Kemper, not a great performance in the tournament opener against the United States, and it's been McElhaney since then. And they've got an important game coming up next against Finland. Over here in Pool A, lots yet to be determined. The Russians facing their first stiff test of the tournament. 7-0, 7-0, 6-0. Their 3 scores coming into tonight's action. But they've come up against it here in the form of the Czech Republic, energized by some additions to their lineup. The headman pass to Didanov, throws it through the slot. Kislevic down low, down on the wall. Krejci takes it, lifts it up high to Pasternák, and he was in offside.
Get a sense of what they just pulled off there. Krejci just threw a 110-foot backhand, 15-foot high saucer pass that landed right at the feet of Pasternák. Then he decided he wanted to handle out of the air, so he opened his blade up like a spatula to catch it to slide in the offensive zone.
Yeah, but he was offside.
I'm not even sure if he was, actually. I guess they're feeling okay.
The skill is ridiculous. Actually, face-off coming all the way back down into the Czech zone. Puck played down the ice. Yakovlev on the retrieval. Grigorenko on the wall. Going around to the far side, which Nevich mishandles. Down in behind Koshechkin. Yakovlev. Past Grigorenko. And this is Repik. Dumps it in. Puck played through center ice. And that'll come back as Sulak collects it on the icing.
What I love about the 3-2-1 system, so 3 for a win, 2 for an overtime win, 1 for the overtime loss or shootout loss, is it provides incentive to go after the game in regulation. It's a big difference, a 3-0 split on a game versus 2-1 if you get into an overtime. So for the Czech Republic, who have designs of pushing forward and have lost a couple points with overtime games already, they need to get this in regulation.
Absolutely, the regulation 3 points, so crucial. Cervenka working against 2 Russian defenders. Also over there was Haika. He gets it back to the line. Long shot. Oh! Vasily Koshechkin looked behind. He wasn't sure he had that one. Still tied up at 3, but a close one. Back inside Royal Arena, built and completed in 2017. Actually mainly built as a handball arena. Not a lot of hockey played in here.
Handball, that's a game to watch. Running in, whipping at each other. I don't know if I've ever played a real one, but I find it fascinating to see on TV.
David Krejci loses the face-off. Nestorov touches it back for Zaitsev. Just outside the blue line. Here comes Russia. Datsuk over the line. Backhand. Oh, that almost went. Pavel Datsuk saw some space up top and tried to hit it. Put it off the side of the net. Zaitsev.
Oh, good hit.
Huge hit there from Yaskin. Unloaded on Barabanov, who heads to the bench with his head down and in some serious discomfort. We haven't seen a ton of hits in this game, but there have been a few huge ones. Kaprizov Lays it on forward for Shalunov. This is Shalunov. The back hit on Krejci. Looks back to the line. Throw. Oh, dangerous tip in front. And David Riddick threw out the pad. Sharp on that save. Mishandles that puck though. Allowing Kaprizov to get there. Some fresh legs off the bench. Loading it up, trying to fire. Was it drawn off? Way up over the net. And it bounces past Riddick. And drawn off. Back to the line, fired in by Kislevic. David Krejci bothered there. Wanted a penalty. Nothing from the officials. And lobbed high out to center, and a tired Czech group will change. Yakovlev whips it down the ice. That was touched, so no icing. Gudis plays it around the boards. And back come the Czechs. Thomas Heika onto the left side. Through the middle. Pass didn't reach Faxa. Whipped around the boards. Held in by Shevchenko. Sosnikov avoided the check, and the shot high up and out of play. 5:52 remaining and a 3-3 deadlock. Sellout crowd of 12,490 here at Royal Arena tonight. A large contingent of Czech fans on hand.
They have traveled well. We're only about 30 miles or so from Malmo, Sweden. But there might be more Czech fans than any country at this venue.
Nestrasil played it over to Nechas. The pass back to the blue line is knocked away. Mikhail Grigorenko, nice job disrupting things. Bushnevich down to Grigorenko. Grigorenko, oh, dangerous shot. Down low on Riddick. Another chance for Bushnevich, right in the slot. It's still there. Anisimov hit a shin pad.
Riddick wants a whistle. His helmet's been knocked off.
Yelling to the official.
And gets the attention of Linus Oland, referee from Sweden. And Morisic gets too excited, gets caught out of the zone. Now he's chasing, breakdown, and there's the shot from Bushnevich that pops Riddick in the mask. And he immediately starts waving for a whistle. A great look at it here, right in his face. And there goes the strap on the right side of his helmet. Frantic sequence in front.
So the face-off sets up. Riddick's left, deep in the Czech zone. They win it clean, high off the glass. Vladislav Gavrikov turns it over. Oh, a nice chance there. And Koshechkin comes up big. Second big save of the period for Koshechkin, who isn't seeing a lot of action here in the third. Weaving his way through center and across the line is Bogdan Kislevic. Walkered out of play.
Russia has slowly taken this game over as the second and third period have progressed. Their depth on both the forwards and defense has taken over. The first line for the Czech Republic has been great, but beyond that, it has generally favored Russia, to the point they got Kaprizov, who's been a real darling in this tournament for how he's played, dropped down to a third or fourth line.
Andronov and Faxa on the face-off, clean win, fires, oh, glove save! A face-off win led to a one-timer, and a nice save by David Riddick. Russia still looking, back to the line. Gudis. Held in by Triamkin, now it hits his skate, and pushed on ahead to Haika. Amish Haika, back for Radko Gudis. Throws it up to center, Triamkin stepping up on the rush. Triamkin trying to get it down low. The big man lumbering around in the offensive corner, 6'7", 265 for Kaprizov. Kaprizov works his way out from behind the net. Zaitsev checks in off the bench. Right out in front, into the blue paint, and David Riddick plays it safe, covering it up.
We just mentioned Kaprizov, who's had a really good tournament in the first line, leans on that one, and it's cuffed out by Riddick, who can't find the rebound. It happens so quick, you see him trying to find the line of sight as Radko Gudis flashes in front of his eyes. Goaltenders hate that. The screen is one thing, but also the flyby when you go through their line of sight. And he had to make a good save on Kaprizov, who is third in the tournament in scoring with 4 goals. Had some pretty well-known NHL stars in Aho and Raquel.
Misfire off the puck drop between Krejci and Datsuk. Datsuk had won it pretty clean.
Interesting they had Pasternaka on the wall, but they moved him now to the middle to try to get out to Dadonov.
Both centers allowed to stay in. The face-off specialists. Dadonov working in behind the net. Up in with Polishek. Now Moravchik throws it out to center. In behind the check forward. And
it's a good call. Zaitsev was going to get there first. He had the lead at the face-off dot. It was blown dead accordingly.
Krejci will argue a little bit. Thought maybe he had the advantage, but
would Krejci like Zaitsev to poke his feet out from under him and have him crash the boards? The exact race that they're trying to avoid, right there. Late in the game, everyone desperate to get a touch. They don't need anyone crashing in out of control.
Tie usually goes to the defender?
Yes.
So Mikhail Grigorenko now in against Krejci. And the Bruins veteran forward wins an important face-off. Laid up ice, and over the line comes Yaskin, has Krejci, hops around the defenseman Gavrikov. Turnover, oh, what a turnover and a chance for Pastrnak. And the save is made. I'd like to welcome in viewers from Canada's convincing 5-0 win over Norway. Ryan Rashog and Mike Johnson here at Royal Arena in Copenhagen. 3-3 tie between Russia and the Czech Republic. The Russians have stormed their way through this tournament. 3 straight wins, and they've come up against it here tonight against the Czech team, whose lineup is bolstered with the additions of David Pastrnak and David Krejci. The Bruins forwards fresh off the plane, straight to the practice rink, and in the lineup here tonight, and they're having a huge night, Mike.
Krejci 3 points, Pastrnak 2, and have provided all the offense for the Czech Republic.
Well, the Russians have been surging here in the third period, carrying the bulk of the play as it's dumped out to center. Nestrasil giving chase. Looped back into the Czech zone. Picking it up is Gudis. Radko Gudis. Long dump in. Pavel Datsuk plays it ahead. This is Nikita Sosnikov playing his first game of the tournament. Barely played through the first 2 periods. Now he's on the top line. Back at the point to Donov. Working his way left. Watched neatly by Cervenka. Russia can't hold the zone. Nikita Zaitsev. Headman pass off the stick of Dadonov. And up and out of play.
Good defending by the Czechs. As Datsuk, Dadonov have kept themselves to the outside. No real threats. And it's the first test for the new head coach for Russia, Ilya Vorobyov. He's not been in a tight game. He's not had to make decisions, timeouts, matchups, overtimes. Josef Yandak has had to do that twice already in this tournament.
Sweden, I'm sure, watching on, hoping for the tie. The advantage Sweden, should a point get away from either of these teams. Moravcik spins and fires it down the ice.
Gotta make plays, Ryan. You gotta make plays at the end of the game. Moravcik wants to get it out, wants to be firm on the puck, but you can't just bury your head in the stand and shoot it off the glass. At some point, it's not gonna work. Kabalik takes the stick out of Gavrikov's hands. You can have this back, I don't need it.
Artem Anisimov in to take the draw against Thomas Plekanec. And Plekanec got that one, tries to clear. Zaitsev tried to seal on the wall, but the puck hops into the Czech bench. Line's been saying the face-off will stay in the defensive zone for the Czechs.
This is where you really value Thomas Plekanec on your team. Late in the game, good in the draws, defensively responsible, that you can trust in your own end, and then free up David Krejci to play once you get it out.
Plekanec closing in on 1,000 career NHL games off the face-off. Anisimov trying to corral it. And Plekanec lays it out to center. Czechs seem content to just keep firing it out to the middle of the ice. Laid out to the blue line, Repik pushes it ahead. Jaskin trying to sell something there at mid-ice. Fans bought it, refs did not. Buchnevich, high shot, way wide. Back to the line, a misplay. And away come the Czechs. Krejci has a hop away from him and into the offensive corner, but he's still first on it. High slot, Pasternyak, near side. Back to the line, shot, blocker save. As Libor Sulak on the follow-up. Vasily Koshechkin throws the blocker out.
This line hops over the boards, creates a turnover, and ends up with Sulak taking that first shot that hits the top of Koshechkin's stick. It's blocked by Buchnevich initially, probably going wide anyways. Koshechkin gets a piece of it up into the glass. Into the match for a whistle.
Krejci in to take the draw against Datsuk. He gets it back for Zaitsev. Back to Pavel Datsuk. Up ice. Falling down over there was Kablukov with a bit of help. Into the final 20 seconds here. It's going to take a lot for the official to make a call at this point.
Well, we've seen these kind of infractions that everyone is looking for penalties on been called at different points in the tournament, but Jaskin take a spill looking for an interference. Kablukov goes down on a pretty harmless looking check from Sulak. I think the referees have done a nice job in a fast, intense game, calling it just right.
Brett Iverson of Canada, Linus Oland of Sweden, overseeing things here today. Russia turns the puck back up ice, dumped in by Sosnikov. On the ice in the final 10 seconds is the youngster. And the final seconds will tick away. A back and forth game, lots of offense in the early going. 3 goals in the first, 3 in the second, but none in the third. So deadlocked at 3-3. We're heading for 5 minutes or less of overtime.
Game, I think, played out like we thought and hoped it would, where the Czechs, with their new additions, provided a very good test for Russia, back and forth, and proved that Russia was not going to just steamroll the entire tournament. And they are heading to overtime for the first time. The Czechs already for the third time heading to overtime.
Win over Slovakia and over the Swiss in overtime. Can they get another here today? Capacity crowd here at Royal Arena has gotten its money's worth. 3-3 tie through 60 minutes, so now 5 minutes or less of 3-on-3 overtime. And boy, don't the options for Czech coach Josef Jandáč look a lot better.
Yeah.
With a couple of Boston Bruins injected into his lineup, and they will start the overtime frame. No surprise, Krejci with Pasternák, big defenseman Libor Sulak, Dodonov, Gavrikov, and Datsuk for the Russians. Pasternák lays it on back for Sulak. Libor Sulak away with it. Works his way through center, sees some space and takes it. Sulak pushed a little too far ahead. Throws it into the corner. And Russia will take over. Datsuk firing it down ice. Dodonov will be first to get there, no icing. Dodonov with Gavrikov into the high slot, snapshot blocked and goes wide. Krejci lays it across ice for Sulak. Krejci, Pasternák will head to the bench. Nečas will check in. Left there wisely by Polishek. His line mate was still changing. Kaprizov works his way through center. Has Artem Anisimov out there with him, along with Nikita Zaitsev. Kaprizov pushes it ahead to Anisimov. Artem Anisimov lays it out right in front. A little too far ahead for Kaprizov. Anisimov. Kaprizov working on Nečas. Kaprizov into the middle, leaves it there. Zaitsev, low shot wide. Kaprizov leaves it for Anisimov. And Nikita Zaitsev to the line, turns it over. Nečas, odd man rush coming. Nečas has Polishek. Zaitsev commits, overcommits, shot. Save is made. Vitaly Koshechkin bails out Nikita Zaitsev, who guessed wrong, came all the way across ice, and it nearly cost him. Moravcik. Crowd cheering on the Czech Republic. Michael Moravcik plays it ahead for Kubalik. Has some time. Kubalik cross ice, and he wasn't there for the return feed. Back to the line, winding, firing, and Koshechkin covers it up.
Serious breakdowns for Russia, giving the Czechs ample opportunity to finish this game. You called it exactly right. Turnover here, Zaitsev thinks he can run at Netchas. He's got too much skill and space. He just holds up, gives it to Polishek for a breakaway, but Koshechkin stands his ground. You can't chase that far over. And then Buchnevich gets caught napping. Repik, you gotta shoot this puck here. Take that thing and fire it. You have a great shot. He elects to go back to no one in particular. Skaselovich had already committed to the defensive side.
Hard pressed to get into a better spot to let it rip than that. Hronek circles back. Riddick leaves it there for Gaskin. Gives it to Hronek. Roman Cervenka also out there. Hronek signals that he wants some help. Both players keep heading up ice, and now he finds him. Yaskin off the right side, feathers a pass through. It was too far ahead for Cervenka. Into the final 2 minutes. Yaskin working behind the nets. Thought about coming out front. Not liking what he sees. He heads back. That'll give Cervenka a chance to change. Hronek works his way up ice, drops it off for Krejci, has Pasternак, David Pasternak to the backhand, now he gets it to go! And that's the game, David Pasternak, a second chance opportunity. What a performance from Pasternak, overtime winner, and the Czechs upset the Russians.